My friends, there comes a moment in life when you realize that you are not here by chance. You were not placed on this earth just to go through the motions or drift aimlessly. You were created with a purpose, a divine assignment, a calling that only you can fulfill. But how can you recognize if you've been chosen for something greater? How do you know if God's hand is upon you, leading you toward a destiny beyond yourself? Number one, a deep inner calling. There are times when a person feels something stirring within their soul, a sense that they are meant for more than an ordinary life. This feeling is not fleeting, nor is it merely a longing for success or recognition. It is something far deeper, something that refuses to be silenced or ignored. It is a divine whisper, a persistent calling that resonates in the very core of one's being, urging them to step into a higher purpose. This calling is not always obvious. It does not always come with clear instructions or a well-defined path. Sometimes it is just a gentle nudge, a quiet awareness that you were designed for more than the life you are currently living. It often begins as a restlessness, a growing discontent with routine, as though the things that once satisfied you no longer do. You may find yourself questioning why you feel different, why you cannot simply conform to what others seem perfectly content with. For some, this sense of destiny is present from childhood, an early awareness that their life holds something special. For others, the realization comes later after years of searching, struggling, and even experiencing failure. Regardless of when it comes, the feeling remains the same, an undeniable conviction that you were made for something greater. This inner calling often carries a burden, a weight on the heart that cannot be ignored. It is as if something within you is crying out for more, longing for fulfillment that cannot be satisfied by material wealth or temporary pleasures. No matter how much success or comfort you attain, there is always a sense of incompleteness. You may try to push it aside, dismiss it, or convince yourself that it is just your imagination. But the calling lingers. It echoes in the quiet moments, in the stillness of the night, in the depths of your soul when no one else is around. Those who experience this calling often go through seasons of doubt. They wonder if they are worthy, if they are capable, if they are strong enough to carry the responsibility that comes with being chosen for something greater. Doubt creeps in, whispering lies that they are not capable enough, that they are too weak, too flawed, too unworthy. But the calling is not based on human qualifications. It does not require perfection. It requires willingness. It is not about having all the answers. It is about having an open heart, open to the journey ahead. There will be moments when the calling feels overwhelming, as if it is too great a weight to carry. It often comes with trials, hardships, and even suffering. But the heaviness of the calling is proof of its significance. Anything truly meaningful, anything that has the power to transform lives and leave a lasting impact does not come without a cost. Those who are called to something greater must go through a process of refinement, endurance, and preparation for what lies ahead. The world may not always understand this calling. Friends and family may not see what you see or sense what you feel. They may question your choices, dismiss your vision, or try to pull you back into the familiarity of a more comfortable path. But a calling that comes from deep within cannot be dictated by external voices. It was placed in your heart for a reason, and only you can truly grasp its depth and purpose. Some spend years searching for meaning, exploring different directions, only to realize that the calling had always been present, waiting for them to recognize it. It is not something that can be manufactured through ambition alone. It is not just a career path, a personal passion, or a hobby. It is a divine mission, something that originates beyond this world. It is the reason you exist, the purpose for which you are created. Sign number 2. Unusual trials and challenges. When someone is chosen for something greater, their journey is rarely easy. Life does not present them with a smooth road free of hardships and difficulties. Instead, they encounter trials that feel heavier than what others seem to experience. But these struggles are not meaningless. They are part of the preparation. They serve a purpose, shaping and refining the one who has been called. At times, the weight of these trials may seem unbearable, but they are not designed to destroy. They are designed to strengthen. They mold a person into someone who can carry the responsibility that comes with a higher calling. For many, these challenges begin early in life. Some endure hardships in their childhood, growing up in difficult circumstances, feeling different, misunderstood, or burdened by struggles beyond their control. Others face adversity later after believing they have found stability, only to be shaken by unexpected loss, setbacks, or pain. Trials take many forms: financial struggles, betrayal, rejection, illness, or overwhelming obstacles that make the dream feel unreachable. These are not random occurrences. They are the refining fire, the pressure that transforms raw stone into a diamond. A person chosen for a higher calling often walks through seasons of isolation. There are moments when it feels as though no one truly understands, as if they are navigating a path that others cannot see. The friendships they once relied on may no longer align with where they are headed. The relationships they cherished may begin to fade away. This loneliness is not punishment, it is preparation. Those being shaped for something extraordinary cannot always walk with the crowd. They are set apart, called to stand in places where few are willing to stand. These trials also challenge faith. A person may be certain they are called to something greater, but when hardships arise one after another, doubt begins to take root. They question whether they truly heard God's voice, whether they are genuinely meant for more. The waiting, the setbacks, the suffering, none of it seems to make sense in the moment. But the weight of the test is always proportionate to the magnitude of the calling. Those who are chosen must learn perseverance, endurance, and an unshakable faith. They must develop strength, not from comfort, but from walking through fire and emerging transformed. Pain has a way of producing wisdom. Those who have never struggled, who have never faced true trials, often lack the depth and understanding required to impact others in a meaningful way. Life's hardships instill resilience, compassion, and the ability to lead not from theory, but from experience. A person who has walked through darkness and come out stronger becomes a guiding light for those still trapped in their own battles. They can speak with authority, not because they have read about suffering, but because they have endured it. Rejection is often one of the greatest tests faced by those destined for something greater. They may be overlooked, dismissed, or even ridiculed. Some will fail to recognize their potential, while others will actively try to hold them back. Such rejection is painful, but it is also a tool of refinement. It teaches that human approval does not define one's worth. It separates those who are truly committed to their purpose from those who would abandon it in exchange for acceptance. Some trials come disguised as failure. Opportunities may disappear, dreams may seem to shatter, and carefully made plans may unravel, but every disappointment carries a lesson. For those who are called, failure is never the end. It is a redirection. It builds patience, resilience, and trust in a greater purpose. It forces growth, pushing a person beyond their limits and into new dimensions of strength and wisdom. These challenges are not punishments, nor are the indications that someone is on the wrong path. If anything, they serve as confirmation that they're being prepared for something far greater than they can currently comprehend. Every difficulty, every trial, and every battle is molding them into the person they need to become in order to fulfill the purpose that has been placed within them. Sign number 3, an unshakable desire to help others. There is something undeniable about a person who carries a deep, relentless passion to help others. It is not just a fleeting thought or an occasional act of kindness. It is a fire within them, an unrelenting urge to uplift, to serve, to guide. This calling is not driven by a need for recognition or personal reward. It comes from a place much deeper, woven into the very fabric of their beings, pressing upon them in ways they cannot ignore. This desire often begins as a quiet stirring and unease when witnessing suffering, injustice, or hardship. While others may turn away unaffected, the one who is called to a greater purpose cannot. They feel the weight of the burdens around them as if they were their own. The pain of a stranger resonates with them. The confusion of a lost soul stirs something deep inside. They are not content to simply observe from a distance. They feel compelled to act, to intervene, to be a force for change. This calling does not always make logical sense. Many who carry this desire do not come from privilege or possess great resources. They may lack wealth, connections, or a clear path forward. But none of that matters when a heart is truly committed to serving others. It is not about what they have. It is about what they are willing to give. When someone is truly called to serve, they do not wait for ideal conditions. They take action even when the path is uncertain. For some, this calling is evident from an early age. They are the ones who step forward when others hesitate, the ones who naturally encourage, comfort, and uplift those around them. For others, this desire is awakened through experience, through their own hardships, struggles, and suffering. They understand what it feels like to be lost, to feel unseen, to carry pain in silence. And because of that, they cannot bear to see others endure the same. Their past wounds become a source of purpose, driving them to be the support they once needed. A person who is truly called to help others often discovers that this burden never fades. No matter how much they try to suppress it, no matter how focused they become on their own ambitions, their pursuit of success or comfort, something within them continually draws them back to the needs of others. It is as if they were made for this very purpose, as if their life is incomplete without it. No matter what they achieve, there remains a longing for something deeper, not for themselves, but for those they are meant to impact. This desire also comes with its own set of challenges. Not everyone will understand it. Some will question why they give so much, why they care so intensely, why they make sacrifices when they are not required to. They may face mockery, discouragement, or even criticism for their passion. Society often encourages people to prioritize themselves, to chase personal happiness above all else, to focus on their own success. But for those who are truly called to serve, a self-centered life will never bring fulfillment. Their deepest satisfaction is not found in what they gain, but in what they give. There is also a weight that comes with carrying such a heart. When someone feels the burdens of others so profoundly, it can be overwhelming. They may struggle with the pain they witness, feeling powerless at times, wondering if their efforts truly matter. But even in moments of doubt, the calling does not fade. It remains pushing them forward, reminding them that even the smallest act of kindness, the simplest word of encouragement, has the power to change a life. This fire to help others is not just a personality trait or a preference. It is a calling. It is a sign that someone has been chosen for something greater, that their life is meant to be a vessel for something beyond themselves. They do not serve because they feel obligated to. They serve because they cannot do otherwise. Their heart beats for others, and no matter where life leads them, that calling will never leave. Sign number 4, restlessness in the ordinary. Some people go through life with an unshakable restlessness, a deep inner knowing that they were not meant to simply exist within the confines of routine. It is not that they lack gratitude or fail to appreciate the blessings around them. It is something much deeper, something difficult to explain to those who seem content with the predictable, the conventional, the expected path. They attempt to settle, to embrace what is practical, to follow the standard course of life. But something inside them resists. There is a stirring in their spirit, a persistent voice reminding them that they were created for something more. This restlessness is not always logical. From the outside, their life may appear complete, even enviable. They may have a secure job, a comfortable home, strong relationships, and everything that should bring satisfaction. Yet something within them longs for more. Not necessarily more wealth or status, but more meaning, more impact, more depth. They cannot shake the feeling that they are meant to step beyond the familiar, to go places others may never go, to pursue a purpose they cannot yet fully define. For some, this restlessness manifests as a discomfort with routine. The daily routine, the predictable schedule, the monotony of it all can feel suffocating. They go through the motions, but their heart and mind are elsewhere, questioning if this is truly what life is meant to be. They may try to convince themselves to simply be content, to accept things as they are, but no matter how much they attempt to silence it, the feeling remains. It lingers in the quiet moments, whispering that something greater is waiting just beyond their reach. For others, this restlessness manifests as a relentless search. They explore different careers, dive into various hobbies, or move to new places, hoping that something will finally bring them peace. Yet, no matter where they go or what they try, the longing never fades. Frustration may set in as they wonder why they cannot simply be satisfied like those around them. But what they fail to realize is that this restlessness is not a burden, and it is a calling. It is a sign that they were never meant to blend in with the crowd or walk a path that was never truly theirs. With this restlessness comes an intense sense of urgency. It feels as though time is slipping away, and they carry a deep, almost desperate need to figure out what they are meant to do. The answers may not yet be clear, but they know with certainty that staying where they are is not an option. They feel drawn to something beyond their current reality, something that challenges them, stretches them, and calls them into the unknown. This feeling is not always easy to bear. It can create internal conflict, especially when those around them do not understand. Others may urge them to be content, to settle down, to stop chasing dreams that seem unrealistic. But for those who are truly called, the pull cannot be ignored. They cannot extinguish the fire burning inside them. No matter how much they try to conform to accept an ordinary existence, something within them refuses to be silent. They may not yet know where they are headed or what they are being prepared for. But one thing is certain: their soul will not be at peace until they step into the purpose for which they were created. The discomfort they feel is not random. It is a sign that they are meant for something more, that their destiny is waiting, and that ignoring the call is not an option. Sign number 5, doors open in unexpected ways. There comes a moment in life when opportunities begin to unfold in ways that defy logic or human effort. These are not doors they have meticulously planned for, nor paths they have carefully designed, but rather openings that appear seemingly out of nowhere. A person may have spent years striving to make things happen on their own, struggling to push forward, only to discover that the breakthrough comes when they least anticipate it. These moments are not random. They are indicators that a greater purpose is unfolding, that an unseen hand is orchestrating events, guiding and positioning those who have been set apart for something greater. Many who are called to a higher purpose endure long periods of waiting. They knock on doors, yet they remain closed. They make plans, yet they fall apart. They prepare diligently, yet the opportunity never seems to come. It can be frustrating, even disheartening, to invest so much effort and see no progress. They may begin to question if they have misinterpreted their calling, if they are chasing something unattainable, if they should abandon their dreams and resign themselves to a life of mediocrity. But just when they are on the verge of giving up, something shifts. A door they never even considered suddenly opens. An opportunity that once seemed impossible presents itself. A connection is made that alters the course of everything. At times, the doors that open are ones a person feels completely unqualified to walk through. They may feel unprepared, unworthy, or incapable of stepping into the opportunity before them. But when a door is opened by divine design, it does not require human credentials. It is not dependent on past experience, academic achievements, or social standing. It is not about being the most skilled or the most talented. It is about being chosen. And when someone is chosen, they are equipped with everything they need at exactly the right moment. There is also an element of faith required in stepping through these doors. Some opportunities will defy logic. They may demand leaving behind comfort, stability, and familiarity. They may call for stepping into the unknown, trusting that the same power that opened the door will also sustain them as they move forward. Fear will attempt to hold them back. Doubt will whisper that they are not ready. But those who are called to a greater purpose cannot afford to be paralyzed by fear. These doors often lead to something far beyond what a person could have envisioned. What begins as a seemingly small opportunity may evolve into something life-changing. What starts as a single step of faith may unfold into an entirely new path, one that brings fulfillment, impact, and purpose. It is only in hindsight that they will recognize how every moment was divinely arranged, how every twist and turn was leading them exactly where they were meant to be. But not every open door is easy to step through. Some doors come with challenges, tests, and obstacles that demand perseverance. Yet, the very fact that the door has opened at all is evidence that a purpose awaits on the other side. It is confirmation that the season of waiting and the struggles endured were not for nothing. It is proof that they were never overlooked, never abandoned, and that their destiny is unfolding in ways they could never have orchestrated on their own. Sign number 6, a strength that comes from faith. There is a kind of strength that does not originate from human effort alone. It is not developed through physical endurance or sheer willpower. It is not found in wealth, status, or influence. Instead, it is a strength that is deeply rooted in something far greater, a strength that comes from faith. The strength is not easily shaken, not because the person who carries it is invulnerable, but because they are anchored in something beyond themselves. It is the kind of strength that sustains a person through life's darkest valleys, through storms that would break others, through trials that seem insurmountable. Faith-driven strength is not dictated by circumstances. It does not waver when difficulties arise. It does not disappear when the road ahead is uncertain. In fact, it is in those very moments, the seasons of struggle, pain, and unanswered questions that this strength is most clearly revealed. Anyone can be strong when life is smooth. Anyone can stand firm when the path is easy. But the kind of strength that comes from faith is forged in adversity. It is not just about enduring hardships. It is about standing firm in the midst of them, pressing forward without losing hope and refusing to give up even when there is no visible reason to keep going. This strength is what enables a person to rise after they have fallen. When the weight of life becomes overwhelming, when setbacks come, when it feels like everything is working against them. Faith is what gives them the courage to rise again. It allows them to look beyond their current struggles and trust that something greater awaits on the other side. Without faith, a person may succumb to fear, despair, or hopelessness, but with faith, they stand on an unshakable foundation, a source of strength that does not fail, no matter what opposition they face. There are times when life feels unbearable, when burdens seem too heavy to carry. Those who rely solely on their own strength eventually reach a breaking point. They grow weary, they become exhausted. But those who draw their strength from faith do not rely on themselves alone. They understand that they are being upheld by something greater. They do not need to have all the answers. They do not need to control every outcome because they trust that their path is being divinely guided. This trust enables them to find peace even in the midst of uncertainty. This type of strength is not always loud. It does not always manifest as confidence or boldness. Sometimes it appears as quiet endurance, the ability to keep moving forward even when no one else sees the battles they are fighting. It is the mother who prays tirelessly over her children, believing in a brighter future. It is the man who refuses to compromise his integrity even when it costs him dearly. It is the individual who continues to love, to give, and to believe even when the world tells them it is pointless. Faith grants a person the courage to take leaps, to venture into the unknown. It empowers them to chase dreams that seem unattainable, to walk paths that others do not understand. It fortifies them against rejection, strengthens them in the face of criticism, and sustains them when the journey becomes difficult. It is the force behind those who make a lasting impact, not because they are the most skilled or the most experienced, but because they believe in something greater than themselves. Those who walk in this strength are not exempt from struggles. They still encounter battles, they still endure pain, and they still face moments of doubt, but they do not remain in those places. They do not allow fear to immobilize them. They understand that even in their weakest moments, they are upheld by a power far greater than their own. They know that their strength does not come solely from within. It is drawn from a source that never runs dry. It is this strength that carries them forward, that keeps them pressing on when everything inside them says to quit, that enables them to remain standing when the world around them is crumbling. Sign number 7, confirmation through others. There are times in life when a person begins to feel that they are meant for something greater, but doubt lingers. They question whether what they sense is real, whether the path before them is truly meant for them. In these moments of uncertainty, confirmation often comes through others. Sometimes the very thoughts they have been wrestling with in their heart are spoken aloud by someone else. A stranger, a friend, a mentor, or an unexpected voice that delivers words too specific to be mere coincidence. These affirmations serve as reminders that their calling is not just a fleeting desire or wishful thinking. It is real, and it has been recognized by others as well. Confirmation does not always arrive in grand or dramatic ways. Sometimes it comes as a simple remark, a passing comment that strikes a deep chord. It may be encouragement from someone who sees a strength, a talent, or a purpose that the individual themselves has struggled to acknowledge. It can also come through repeated affirmations from different people at various moments, all pointing in the same direction. These instances are not mere coincidences. They serve as reminders, divinely placed reassurances that the stirring within their heart is not accidental. Many people dismiss their own calling because they feel unqualified or inadequate. They convince themselves that their dreams are too ambitious, that their abilities are too insignificant, that their shortcomings are too overwhelming. But then someone speaks into their life, highlighting a strength they have long overlooked, recognizing something they have carried all along but never fully embraced. These words hold power. They awaken something deep within, encouraging them to see themselves as they were always meant to be. At times, confirmation comes through those who have walked a similar path. Someone wrestling with self-doubt may hear the story of another who once felt the same uncertainties but chose to step forward in faith only to discover their true purpose along the way. These testimonies act as mirrors reflecting the possibility of what could be. They serve as reminders that they are not alone, that others have faced the same fears and uncertainties, yet still found the strength to step through the door that had been opened for them. Not every confirmation will be easy to accept. Sometimes others recognize something in a person before they are ready to embrace it themselves. They may be challenged to rise higher, to take on a responsibility they do not feel prepared for. There may be moments when someone speaks a truth that is difficult but necessary, pushing them out of hesitation and into action. Growth rarely happens in comfort. Sometimes it takes the words of another to stir a person from indecision and propel them forward. Confirmation can also arrive in ways one least expects. A message may come at the perfect moment, a word of encouragement from someone they have not heard from in years, a sign that reminds them they are seen, known, and called for a purpose. These moments are too intentional to be dismissed. They act as guiding markers along the journey, leading a person toward the path they were always meant to take. There will always be skeptics, those who question, those who fail to see the potential placed within a person. But confirmation does not come from everyone. It comes from the right voices at the right time in the right way. It arrives as a quiet yet undeniable reassurance that the road ahead is not a mistake. It serves as a reminder that a calling is not something one carries in isolation, but something that is often seen affirmed and strengthened through the encouragement of others. When a person is chosen for something greater, the signs are unmistakable. There is an inner calling that refuses to be silenced, a restlessness with the ordinary that drives them beyond a life of mediocrity. The struggles they endure are not designed to break them, but to shape them, refining their character and preparing them for the weight of their purpose. A deep passion to serve others becomes an unrelenting force, pushing them to uplift, to support, to invest in the lives of those around them. Doors begin to open in unexpected ways, not through human effort alone, but through divine alignment. Their strength is not drawn from sheer determination, but from faith. A faith that sustains them when everything else crumbles. A faith that carries them through when they feel they have nothing left to give. And in moments of doubt, when they question whether they are truly destined for something greater, confirmation arrives through the right words at the right time, through the encouragement of those who see what they have yet to recognize in themselves, through repeated affirmations that assure them they are exactly where they are meant to be. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of uncertainty is part of the preparation. Those who are called are not led down an easy road, but they are led toward a purpose that is worth it. They do not settle for the ordinary because they were never meant to. They rise above, not for their own recognition, but because their life is meant to be a testament to something far greater. And when they fully embrace their purpose, when they step boldly into the calling that has always been upon them, they find what they have been searching for all along. Not just success, not just fulfillment, but the unshakable confirmation that they are standing exactly where they were always meant to be. There comes a time in life when you realize that your strength alone is not sufficient. You try to hold everything together, but the harder you grasp, the more things slip through your fingers. You face struggles within your mind, in your home, in your relationships, and in your heart. You exert all your effort to make things right, to fix what's broken, and to bear the weight of responsibilities, fears, and expectation. Yet no matter how strong you believe you are, there will come a point where your strength is simply not enough. That is when you must remember that God's hands are far stronger than yours. It is human nature to rely on self-sufficiency. From the time we are born, we are taught to stand on our own, to take charge, and to push through challenges with our willpower. However, there will inevitably be times when life presents burdens too heavy for us to carry. It could be an illness that no doctor can heal, a betrayal that leaves you broken, a financial struggle that seems insurmountable, or a deep emptiness in your soul that no success, relationship, or possession can fill. When you find yourself in that place, you are faced with two choices: to continue struggling under the weight, or to surrender it into the hands of the one who never grows tired. God's hands are strong enough to carry what you cannot. As the Bible says in Isaiah 41:10, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This means that no matter the challenge, no matter how weak you feel, his hands are mighty and more than sufficient to sustain you. He is not like man. He does not tire. He does not become overwhelmed, and he does not fail. The same hands that created the heavens and the earth, the same hands that formed you in your mother's womb, are the hands that hold you today. Some of you are carrying burdens that God never intended for you to bear. You've spent years trying to control situations, fix others, and manipulate circumstances to suit your desires. But the more you try to control, the more out of control things become. That is because life was never meant to be carried alone. God did not design you to face life's storms relying on your own strength. He wants you to lay it all down before him, to release the burden, and trust that his hands are more than capable of holding everything together. Think of a child struggling with something too heavy. No matter how hard the child tries, the weight is simply too much to bear. But as soon as that child places the burden in the hands of a loving father, the struggle ends. That father who is stronger can carry what the child cannot. Similarly, your heavenly Father is waiting for you to stop fighting and place everything in his hands. In the same way, your heavenly Father is waiting for you to stop struggling and place everything into his hands. Surrendering to God is not a sign of weakness. It is the greatest expression of faith. The world tells you to keep pushing, to keep striving, to never give up. But God says, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. He is asking you to trust him, to let go of your worries, and to stop fighting battles that are his to fight. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to carry the weight of tomorrow's burdens. You don't have to pretend to be strong when you feel weak. God's hands are large enough, strong enough, and faithful enough to hold your life together even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. When you truly understand the power of God's hands, fear no longer controls you. You stop living in anxiety over things beyond your control. You stop losing sleep over problems you cannot solve. You stop wearing yourself out trying to handle everything on your own. Instead, you learn to rest in the certainty that the same God who holds the universe together is holding you as well. God's hands are not only powerful, but they are also gentle. They are the hands that lift you when you fall, the hands that wipe away your tears, the hands that reach out when you feel as if you're sinking. They are the hands that break chains of bondage, the hands that open doors no one can shut, the hands that provide when resources are limited. His hands are mighty to save, mighty to heal, and mighty to restore. So why are you still carrying burdens you should have given to him? Why are you still worrying about things he has already promised to handle? Why are you still wearing yourself out, trying to fix what only God can fix? His hands are stronger than yours. His wisdom is greater than yours. His power far exceeds anything you could ever understand. And the moment you choose to release your burdens into his hands, that is the moment you will finally experience peace. Trusting God is one of life's greatest challenges because it requires something most people struggle with: letting go. We cling to our plans, our worries, our desires, and even our pain, thinking that if we just try hard enough, we can control the outcome. But true trust in God means releasing control and placing everything in his hands, even when we don't understand his ways. Letting go is difficult because it goes against human nature. From a young age, we are taught to take control, to work hard, to push through struggles, and to make things happen on our own. We are conditioned to believe that if we desire something strongly enough, we must do everything in our power to achieve it. While hard work and perseverance are important, there comes a point when our efforts reach their limit. That is when trust begins. When we realize that no matter how much we try, there are some things only God can manage. Many people claim to trust God, but in truth, they still try to manage everything themselves. They pray about their struggles, but as soon as the prayer ends, they pick those burdens back up and continue to worry. They ask God to open doors, But when things don't happen on their timetable, they force the doors open themselves. They say they've surrendered their lives to Him, but deep down, they fear what might happen if they truly let go. Trust is not simply words. It requires action. Trust means letting go of control, stepping back, and allowing God to work in His way and timing. Letting go means accepting that not all answers will come immediately. There will be times when God calls you to walk by faith, even when you can't see the way ahead. Abraham was instructed to leave his home and go to a land that God would show him. Not knowing the destination, Peter was told to step out of the boat and walk on water without knowing if he would sink. Time and again, the Bible teaches us that true faith demands action before understanding. God does not always reveal the full plan, but He asks you to trust Him enough to take the next step even when it doesn't seem to make sense. One of the greatest barriers to letting go is fear. Fear whispers, what if God doesn't come through? What if things don't go as I hope? What if I end up worse off? Fear traps people in anxiety, causing them to try to control every aspect of their lives because deep down they fear the consequences of not being in control. But fear and faith cannot coexist. The moment you choose to trust God, fear loses its power over you. When you let go, you begin to walk in the peace that only He can provide. Letting go also means surrendering the past. Some hold on to pain, bitterness, and regrets, unwilling to release them into God's hands. They replay past mistakes, wondering how things could have been different. They hold on to old wounds, refusing to forgive those who have hurt them. But you cannot truly trust God while clinging to what He is asking you to release. His healing can only begin when you let go of what burdens you. Trusting God also involves surrendering the future. Many people are consumed by worry about what tomorrow holds. They stress over finances, careers, relationships, and decisions, trying to plan every detail of their lives. But Jesus said, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Matthew 6:34. When you trust God, you recognize that He already knows what is ahead. He is not only in control of today, He is in control of every moment that is yet to come. Your task is not to figure everything out, but to trust the one who already has it all figured out. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about choosing to trust that God's plan is better than your own. It is recognizing that His wisdom surpasses your understanding. It is finding peace in the truth that even when things seem beyond your control, He remains in control. It is surrendering your will, your desires, your fears, and your future into His hands, trusting that He will never let you down. There is a truth each person must come to understand. God's plans are greater than ours. No matter how carefully we plan our lives, no matter how much effort we put into directing things our way, there will always be a moment when we realize that our plans are limited. But God's plans go far beyond anything we could imagine. His ways are higher, His wisdom is deeper, and His vision extends far beyond what we can see. People often struggle with this truth because they want to be in control. They want to determine how things should unfold, when they should happen, and what the outcome should be. But life doesn't always follow human expectations. Sometimes doors that seem perfect remain closed. Sometimes the opportunities we long for slip away. Sometimes things we never wanted enter our lives, altering everything. In those moments, it's easy to question God. It's easy to wonder why He allows certain events. It's easy to doubt whether He is truly guiding us. But faith isn't about understanding every detail. It's about trusting that His plan is greater even when we don't see it. God's plans are not restricted by human limitations. What appears as failure to us may be the foundation for something much greater. Joseph in the Bible had dreams of greatness, but instead of rising to power right away, he was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned. To human eyes, his life seemed like a series of setbacks, but God had a plan. Every betrayal, every challenge, every painful experience was preparing him for the position God had in mind. If Joseph had been released from prison too soon, he would have missed the opportunity to be in the right place at the right time to interpret Pharaoh's dream and rise to power as Egypt's second in command. What appeared to be a painful detour was in reality the perfect path to his destiny. Many people make the mistake of measuring God's plan by their own timeline. They believe that if something doesn't happen when they expect it, God must have forgotten them. But God is never in a rush, and he is never too late. His timing is flawless, and his plan unfolds exactly as it should. There are seasons of waiting that hold purpose. There are moments of delay that serve as divine protection. There are times when what we desire is withheld because God has something far greater planned. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that passed you by. What if those things were never meant to be part of your story? What if God was guiding you to something that would bring far greater blessings than you ever imagined? God's plans are not only more magnificent, but they are also crafted for your good. Even when you face trials, even when you experience pain, even when things seem to fall apart, God is still working behind the scene. The Bible reminds us in Romans 8:28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. This means nothing is ever wasted. Every disappointment, every challenge, every unexpected turn is part of a plan that surpasses anything you could ever devise for yourself. The challenge is that people often resist God's plan because it doesn't align with their own. They hold on to relationships God is asking them to release. They chase after dreams he never intended for them to pursue. They resist change out of fear of the unknown. But surrender is the key. When you stop fighting, when you stop forcing your own way, when you finally trust that God knows what he is doing, that's when you will start to see his plan unfold. God does not see as we do. He sees the complete picture. He sees what's ahead. He knows where the path leads. While you are consumed with today, he has already prepared your tomorrow. While you worry about what you have lost, he is preparing something better to replace it. While you are focused on what's right in front of you, he is arranging something beyond your imagination. His plan is not just for your immediate comfort. It is for your eternal purpose. What he is doing in your life is not just about this moment, but about everything he has destined for you to become. It is difficult to trust when you don't understand. It is hard to let go of your plans when you've worked so hard to create them. But when you truly believe that God's plans are greater, you will no longer fear the unknown. You will no longer cling to things not meant for you. You will no longer be discouraged when things don't go as planned. Instead, you will find peace in knowing that the one who holds the universe in his hands is the same one guiding your life. Worry is one of the greatest thieves of peace. It sneaks into the mind, grips the heart, and begins to control the way a person thinks and lives. Worry drains your energy, robs your joy, and instills fear about things that may never even happen. It causes sleepless nights, restless days, and anxious thoughts that seem endless. But no matter how much someone worries, it never alters the outcome. Worry doesn't solve problems, it only magnifies them. It doesn't provide answers, it only increases stress. Yet so many people find themselves stuck in this cycle, unable to break free. God never intended his people to live in a constant state of anxiety. He did not design the human heart to bear the weight of the world. That's why he calls us to pray instead of worry.